You were born in 9th century Norway. Congratulations! Your mom almost died giving birth to you, and the midwife left the moment you started crying. And you don't just cry. You're screaming and throwing tiny fists like you already smelled blood. Your mom? She doesn't cradle you. She flinches, because even as a baby, there's something off about you. Your dad? Oh, he's off raiding Francia, because being a Viking and not sailing off to pillage every fall, that's like skipping leg day. Disgraceful. Fast forward, you're 5. Instead of finger painting or whatever kids do now, you're helping your mom chop firewood. For fun, you headbutt trees and bite goats. By 8, you're starting to wonder why no one talks about your dad. Then you remember that one time your mom cried for weeks. Back then, you were too young to get it. Now you do. He's dead. You feel sad, but you don't cry. You're a Viking, kiddo. Crying? Not on the list of approved emotions. You're getting older now, and you're starting to notice something kind of alarming. When you get mad, it's not just grr mad, it's murderous mad. You've torn chickens apart with your teeth, buried an axe in your neighbor's leg just because he looked at your wooden sword funny. He survived, barely, and honestly, that guy got off easy compared to what you've done to others. So now your mom's full-time job? Trying to keep you from becoming a one-kid apocalypse. You want to stop. You do. But something deep inside you just really enjoys leaving people with life-threatening injuries to anyone who breathes wrong. Your days are packed with chores, chopping wood, hauling water, pretending not to be a violent time bomb. But nights? Yeah, they're awful. You don't sleep. You get nightmares, freaky visions. Best night of sleep you ever had? 1 hour. And that was probably a fluke. Your mom finally drags you to the local shaman. He stares into your soul for a bit, then just says, "Come back when you see what troubles you." Thanks, dude. Super helpful. Problem is, you never remember your dreams. Until this morning. For the first time ever, you wake up refreshed. No screaming, no visions, and this time you remember everything. So you sprint back to the shaman like it's Viking Christmas. He listens, nods slowly, then drops this bomb. Odin's speaking to you. Wait, what? Yeah, the All-Father himself is sliding into your dreams. And he doesn't want small talk. He wants to turn you into a berserker, a rage-powered monster warrior blessed by the god of war himself. Cool, right? Except it also means you're basically cursed. Everyone you know will fear you. You can't live a normal life. Definitely no more goat petting. And your mom? Yeah, you'll have to stay away from her too. Or you might snap and accidentally kill her. Your life isn't yours anymore. It belongs to Odin now. And he doesn't exactly offer health benefits. By the time you're 12, you're bigger than most grown men, and about 6 mental breakdowns away from becoming a full-time forest cryptid. The village has had enough, so they send you off to live with the warriors, which is really just Viking speak for, "Please take this feral child before he eats another baby goat." You get dumped into a group of older berserkers. These guys? Terrifying. They don't smile. They don't speak. They hit like falling trees. So yeah, maybe don't mess up if you'd like to keep your spine connected. You start learning the ways of the axe. Simple enough. You swing it. You chop stuff. You look cool. But then sparring begins, and suddenly nothing's cool anymore. They throw you in the ring with 2 full-grown berserkers. You land hits. They shrug. You block. Your bones vibrate. Sometimes they even toss you into a fight unarmed. Just you and your bare fists against a guy holding an axe and zero mercy. Months go by. You start looking like a patchwork rag doll. Bruises, cuts, scars in places you didn't even know you had. But hey, you know how to swing an axe now. Then one night, you're by the fire, wiping blood off your axe. Probably not yours. One of the older berserkers limps over. "You like war, kid?" You nod, obviously. He leans in, breath like mushrooms. "Then try War Thunder." What the hell is that? He tosses a bone into the fire, doesn't speak for a second. War Thunder is the most insane vehicle combat game ever forged. Over 2,500 tanks, planes, ships, even metal birds that drop fire. You want violence? It's got it. Realistic physics, explosions that flinch your soul. The battles are massive. The sound design? Uncomfortably real. That sounds impossible. He chuckles. You can play on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, even on a glowing runestone, mobile they call it. What does it cost? Nothing. It's free. Just carnage and more explosions than Thor's wedding night. Click the link below to download War Thunder and join 70 million other maniacs. And yeah, you'll get a free bonus pack with the exclusive Eagle of Valor Vehicle Decorator, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account, and more. By 16, you're an absolute unit. But physical training isn't enough. Not when you're supposed to be Odin's personal murder machine. So now comes the spiritual stuff. You're taught how to trigger the Berserker Gang, a terrifying battle state where pain means nothing. Fear doesn't exist, and you fight like you're possessed by a god. Because, well, you kind of are. How do you get into this magical murder state? Mushrooms. Not the pizza kind, the hallucinogenic kind. You hate these mushrooms. Every time you take them, Odin shows up in your brain, speaking in some ancient divine gibberish you barely understand. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is what happens after. Last time you took the mushrooms, you blacked out and woke up deep in the woods, holding a human arm, not yours. Later, the trainers informed you it belonged to an unlucky Viking who had the misfortune of meeting you mid-Berserker Gang. So yeah, spiritual training, going great. After 2 years of spiritual training and more mushrooms than a troll salad, you're officially ready. You're drafted into the king's personal guard. Big honor, short gig. Because before the year's even out, your king announces a massive raid on England. Time for your first international murder tour. So now you're on a boat, first time at sea. You spend most of it vomiting and threatening to hurl your entire skeleton into the ocean. Every morning starts with breakfast. Every afternoon ends with you almost feeding that breakfast to the fish. Other Vikings, especially the younger ones, stare at you and the other berserkers like you're celebrities. The older Vikings? Total opposite. They keep their distance. They've seen what happens when berserkers get in the mood, and they'd very much like to keep their heads attached. Once you reach shore, the first few raids are a cakewalk. Tiny coastal villages, barely any fighters. You swing, they fall. You loot their goats. Easy. But then things get real. The King of York rallies his army. Suddenly, you're not just raiding sheep farms, you're in a full-blown war. As a berserker, you've got two options. 1. Stick close to your king as a bodyguard. 2. Charge the front lines and turn into a one-man buzzsaw. You're newish, so guess which one you get? You're told to grab a squad of berserkers and charge the front, aka the fastest possible way to die. But you're not scared. Nope, you're excited. Before battle, you do the ritual. You and the others start chanting, cutting yourselves, and munching mushrooms that turn your brain into lightning and chaos. The other Vikings watch from a safe distance, of course, because no one wants to get caught in the splash zone. Then it hits. The Berserker Gang. You and your squad explode toward the English soldiers like rabid wolves wearing fur and fury. The rest of the Viking army is still jogging behind, but you're already in the middle of the chaos, tearing through shields like they're made of wet bark. And then, nothing. You black out. When you wake up, it's quiet. You're lying in some corner of the battlefield, covered in blood that definitely isn't all yours. Around you, bodies. A lot of them. They're not grown warriors. They're kids, barely older than you were when you started your training. You sit there, surrounded by the aftermath of your own rage, and something sharp twists in your chest. Bitterness, guilt, maybe even doubt. Is this really what Odin wanted? Slaughtering scared boys who were just defending their homes? For the first time, you're not so sure. You survived your first real battle. Congrats, right? Nah, you don't feel like celebrating. You head back to Norway and slide right back into your old job, guarding the king like none of it happened. Vikings start whispering about you. They say it's wild how you can flip the switch like that. Bloodthirsty beast on the battlefield, stoic shadow around the throne. But anyone who saw you in York? Yeah, they're not getting within 6 feet of you. You're basically walking trauma in a fur cloak. And then, against all odds, you make it to 30. For a berserker, that's ancient, like retirement home ancient. Most of your kind don't live past 25, not because they suck at fighting, but because no one wants to deal with them after the blood dries. Too unstable, too violent, too unpredictable. But you've lasted. You've got the scars, the limp, and a brain that never rests. Your beard's going gray. Your joints sound like creaky wood. Your left arm barely works thanks to that one time you dislocated it while ripping a man off his horse with one hand. You're no longer the rookie swinging wildly in the front lines. Now you lead the Berserkers, the king's go-to head crusher. You go on raid after raid, across the sea, more gold, more screams in foreign languages. When your king dies, his son takes the throne and makes you head of the royal guard. The new king? Not as clever as his dad, but he is a true Viking. Loves raiding, loves fighting, loves war. Which means you are constantly busy. More battles, more killing, more trips into the Berserker gang. At first, it's fine. You can still control it, still choose when to enter the rage. But then, something changes. You lose control. You don't decide when the Berserker gang happens anymore. It decides for you. Sometimes it hits in battle. Sometimes it hits during meals. Even your fellow Berserkers are scared of you. You know it's bad when the other murder mushroom guys keep their distance. And remember those terrifying childhood visions? Yeah, they're back. Nightmares, shadowy figures, the whole mental horror show. Your solution? More mushrooms. Bold strategy, but it just makes everything way worse. Your brain's fried, your spirit's wrecked. The years of killing finally catch up to you. And suddenly, you're not a warrior anymore. You're a walking threat. The king dismisses you, not because you're weak, but because you're too dangerous. You go to the shamans, desperate for answers. You beg for rituals, visions, clarity, anything. Nothing works. Eventually, you do the only thing that makes sense. You disappear into the wilderness alone. You exile yourself so you don't end up slaughtering some farmer over a spilled drink. And every night, the dreams come back. Always the same. You're killing people, but you can't see their faces. Just bodies, screams, blood. It's like your soul is stuck on repeat. You hate it. You beg Odin to end your suffering and take back the rage he gave you. Nothing happens. Years pass. Odin says nothing. Either he's ignoring you or he's done with you. This morning, you walked into town, looked every Viking in the eye, challenging them all, come kill me. But no one steps forward. Not one. Because even in your madness, even with your gray beard and limping leg, they still remember you. The nightmare from York, the man who tore enemies apart like paper. Now, you're alone again, staring at that thick rope thinking, if Odin won't take your soul, maybe it's time you deliver it to him personally. Big thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. You can play War Thunder for free right now on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile. And don't forget, that link gets you a massive bonus pack, 100,000 Silver Lions, premium vehicles, 7 days of premium account, and more.